Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So, if you're a pet parent, you absolutely already know the modern struggle finding reliable care for your dog. You just want them to be safe, happy, and genuinely cared for when you literally can't be there. But over the last few years, finding that kind of care has actually gotten surprisingly difficult. We're seeing this massive industry-wide shift in pet care, and honestly, it's leaving a lot of dog owners feeling pretty frustrated and a little uneasy. Well, today we're looking at a fascinating source that serves as a direct counter-movement to this whole trend. We're going to explore the operational model of Dog Daycare Round Rock. It's a family-owned facility that is actively rejecting the corporatization of pet care. To really understand why their approach is so incredibly refreshing, we have to start by asking a core question. What actually happens when daycare's run by locals and not private equity? And it's a totally genuine question because right now, so many beloved local pet spots are quietly getting bought up by these huge corporate groups. When that happens, the priorities inherently shift, right? Suddenly, your furry best friend is being managed by some distant corporate office, making decisions based entirely on franchise fees and quarterly KPI decks. But what does a facility look like when there's no corporate office? When the person who actually owns the business is literally the one on site making the call? Okay, let's dive into this and look at the actual operational differences detailed in our source. First up, the corporate model. A lot of large franchises rely on what the source calls customer flow optimization. In practice, this often means they literally cycle dogs in and out of crates every 90 minutes. Why? Just to maximize the number of dogs they can physically push through the building. It's a volume game, pure and simple. But in total contrast, the independent model used by Dog Daycare Round Rock takes the exact opposite approach. They prioritize pet-first care. They offer 6+ hours of supervised off-leash group play every single day. And that's broken up by just one shared midday nap between noon and 2 p.m. So it's not about optimizing customer flow at all. It's about making sure the dogs are actually playing and burning off that energy. 20. Now, Dog Daycare Round Rock isn't some new tech startup testing out a theory. 20 is the number of years they've been independently owned and operated on the exact same patch of Round Rock, Texas, since 2006. That is 2 full decades of family-owned experience. I mean, they were operating way before big chains like Dogtopia, Pet Suites, or the PetSmart Pet Hotel even arrived in town. They have a totally proven track record, and they explicitly state they plan to stay a single-location, family-owned business. They aren't trying to scale up to 100 locations. They are literally just trying to be the absolute best possible facility for their local community. And a huge part of being that best possible facility really comes down to how they handle transparency. In the corporate pet care world, transparency is kind of just a marketing buzzword. You might get a couple of highly curated, perfectly angled photo updates sent to your phone. But this independent facility defines transparency entirely differently. The source notes they offer live webcams streaming all day long during play hours. There's no mystery. You can watch exactly what your dog is doing from anywhere at any time. Plus, they have 24/7 staff on site for overnight boarders. The dogs are absolutely never left completely alone in an empty building at night. To see why these operational choices matter so much to actual pet parents, take a look at this review from a customer named Michelle from Hutto, Texas. She boarded her 2-pit mixes over the holidays. Just look at what she highlights here. She says the daytime webcam was a lifesaver that let her see them romping around. And knowing someone was there overnight made it actually possible to relax. And that's the whole point. Because they aren't answering to a private equity group desperately trying to slash payroll, they can actually invest in 24/7 staffing. They can afford to give owners genuine peace of mind. Section 1. Tailored play. Evaluating dogs as individuals. So offering all that play is great, but only if it's managed correctly, right? The source breaks down exactly how they carefully build their packs. It's not a one-size-fits-all room. For large and high-energy dogs, we're talking over 40 pounds, like your adolescent labs, shepherds, and doodles, they provide supervised, structured play matched with similar play styles. But what if you have a smaller dog? Right below that on the table, you'll see they have a completely separate room and outdoor area for dogs under 40 pounds. It provides quieter company, away from the rough-and-tumble crowd. For puppies, as long as they're over 6 months and spayed or neutered, which, by the way, they note is purely a behavioral requirement for group dynamics, not a medical one, they get that vital early socialization. And for the seniors, they get way slower introductions, shorter play sessions, and quieter placement. It's just incredibly thoughtful logistics. But what really stands out to me in the source material is their honesty and their inclusivity. First off, they have absolutely no breed bans, none. Pit bulls, German shepherds, bullies, mixes, every single dog is welcome and evaluated as an individual, not by whatever is printed on an adoption paper. However, they pair this inclusivity with, honestly, brutal honesty. If a dog is reactive or timid and just finds their high-energy environment stressful after the evaluation, the staff will straight up tell the owner. They are not going to push a bad fit just to make a quick buck. They'll actually recommend alternatives, like in-home boarding or a quieter facility. Section 2. Fair and flexible policies. Okay, we've talked about the dogs. Now let's look at the business model, because their daycare passes are almost unheard of in today's subscription economy. The source highlights that these passes are fully refundable for any unused days at any time. They never expire, they are completely transferable to another dog or client, and there are literally zero maintenance fees. Their whole philosophy is that if you pay for something, you are owed the value, period. No tricks, no corporate nonsense where your expensive credits just quietly expire at the end of the month. And this brilliantly illustrates how they actually walk the walk. David from Pflugerville left a big chain because they stopped honoring his unused days. So he came over to Dog Daycare Round Rock, bought a 20-pack, used 14 of them, and then 3 years later asked for a refund when he moved. He got it within a week. No questions asked. As David perfectly sums it up, that's how a real local business should run. It's exactly this kind of incredibly fair policy that clearly builds immense customer loyalty over time. This same high standard applies to their boarding services as well. Think about an old-school traditional kennel. They keep dogs in a run all day with just a couple of short potty breaks. Honestly, it's pretty isolating. But here, dogs who are boarding overnight actually join the daycare program during the day. They get those 6+ hours of supervised group play, and they only use their clean, comfortable kennels to sleep at night. The source describes it perfectly. It's a lot less like a traditional kennel and much closer to a sleepover camp for dogs. Section 3. Claiming your free trial. So, how do you actually get your dog into this sleepover camp? True to their completely transparent nature, the source states, every new client gets 2 completely free evaluation days for a single dog. There is absolutely no payment required to sign up, there's no hidden catch, and a real human responds to your inquiry within 1 business day. The entire goal of these free days is simply to assess the fit and make sure the dog is actually comfortable in the pack before anyone spends a single dime. The onboarding process itself is incredibly frictionless. Check this out. Step 1. You just submit your dog's details and a preferred date online. No spam, no annoying sales calls, no payment info required whatsoever. Step 2. You show up on your evaluation day with your dog's vaccine records. Step 3. You and your dog experience their care firsthand. It's literally an entirely risk-free way to test the waters. They just want you to experience the difference for yourself. Which really leaves us with one final, essential thought for you to consider. Is your dog ready to be treated like family and not just some billable unit on a quarterly deck? The corporatization of pet care is a very real trend, but this explainer shows us from the source material that we absolutely still have choices. When a facility is family-owned, when they offer transparent live webcams, individualized pack matching, and forever refundable passes, they're proving that doing right by the dog is the best business model of all. So if you're in the Round Rock area, the independent antidote is waiting for you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.